Good morning, folks. This is Waylon Lewis from Boulder, Colorado, and I wanted to talk about something that involves the world, uh, the election, the incoming Trump presidency, the rancor, and kind of dislike that many Americans have for one another right now, and perhaps most fundamentally, our own relationship with ourselves and our relationships with our loved ones and our family. We're about to all go to Thanksgiving, many of us, and hang out with families who have various political views. So if you have any questions kind of around how to make friends with yourself from a Buddhist or a mindful point of view, please ask them. Please give it a like or love and help this video get beyond the Facebook algorithm. That's kind of how it works. It kind of boils, the more likes and love, and then it boils over like a yummy pot of coffee that I have not had yet today. So this is around the concept called Maitri, Maitri. And Nicole is our editor on duty. You can give a shout out and appreciation to Nicole, who's a hard working lady. And she works like 55 hours a week for 2 jobs. And I think Elephant just comes out of her time with Elephant, just comes out of her inspiration to try and help you guys and share helpful, mindful stuff. So give Nicole some love. If you're just tuning in, say where you're from, and maybe add where you're going for Thanksgiving and maybe what you're looking forward to or what you're nervous about. So if you have questions around how to make friends with yourself, please let me know and I'll answer them. I have a video. It's in that blog on Maitri. Elephant has a wonderful blog on Maitri, which is simply about making friends with yourself. And no, this isn't some spiritual love and lighty topic. This is tough work. We all often are really hard on ourselves. As Pema Chodron says, the hardest times in our life are often due to how we treat ourselves. You know, life is 90% what happens, but 10% kind of how we react to that. And a lot of times we react with guilt, we react with anxiety, we react with discursiveness, we react with even everyday depression as opposed to clinical depression. So I'll see if there's any questions. I really want this to be for you. So give me a question around how to make friends with yourself from a Buddhist or mindful point of view, or about any fears or concerns or anxieties you have, or kind of just generally, if you're not at a place where you can take yourself out on a hot date or take yourself out to a movie or take yourself out in public without feeling self-conscious that you might be alone once in a while, we still aren't yet then at a place where we have made friends with ourselves. If we can be our best friend, you know how fun it is to go to a Halloween party or to whatever with best friends. Well, imagine if you could feel like that all the time just because you're with yourself. You're present with yourself. You're kind to yourself. You're honest with yourself. And that, ironically, is where true strength or true power or true kind of presence comes from. Presence is a powerful word because it connects with, obviously, the notion of being present. All right, Angela, just reading Kind to Yourself makes me want to cry. I'm a devoted mom and wife, and I love hard, but I'm realizing that I'm losing taking care of myself with the kindness I expel. So that's a powerful question. Thank you, Angela. So first of all, the impulse to want to cry means that notion connects with your heart, and that your heart is open. It feels it, like almost like a piercing arrow of kind of empathy for yourself, and even for your lack of empathy for yourself. Your natural, basic, fundamental goodness is aware that you're not being good enough to yourself. So one of the most powerful notions in Buddhism that I was lucky enough to grow up with is that being kind to others actually doesn't make us tired. Being kind to others when it's selfless is a kind of misleading or tricky word. It gets into martyrdom. But when you can just be kind to others and enjoy doing so, that can be true service, and that can be truly joyful. So there's this notion in Shambhala, and it's a book I recommend. I have a blog Nicole could put in the comments, 10 best Buddhist books for beginners, classic Buddhist books for beginners. One of them is Shambhala, and Shambhala has this section where Trungpa, the author and Buddhist meditation teacher, who is my parents' teacher, talks about how the tiger is ever youthful. And the notion there is that being kind actually in a way keeps us young. Being kind keeps us, to ourselves and others, keeps us fundamentally young. We're not talking about age. We're not talking about wanting to be younger. We need to be, part of Maitri is being okay with whatever age we are. We have wrinkles, our hair might be thinning. Whatever our thing with age is, when we're young, we have pimples and we're going insane with hormones. Whatever age we're at, we can make friends with that. And I have a lot of great blogs, Nicole. If you search wrinkles, aging, Buddha, elephantjournal.com. If you could put that in the comments, I love those blogs that I put together around aging and making friends with that. But, so Angela, part of your being able to serve and be helpful to your family and your loved ones is being able to serve, obviously, and take care of yourself. And that's easier said than done. Entrepreneurs, parents, you all know how often you get advice from people who don't really know what you're doing. Oh, just go for a massage. Oh, just go to the spa. Oh, just take a break. We can't do that. So you have to actually, all the time, and it's great if we can, but we have to take care of ourselves right now, in the present moment. So if you feel some tension, if you feel some tightness in your back or in your heart, just right now, in your throat, just right now, take a good old deep healing breath. If, like me, you got in there, but maybe not all of it, take another one. Right into the stress, right into the anxiety. Trying to avoid stress or anxiety makes us more stressed and more anxious. Okay. So, Angela, read that blog on Maitri and treat that blog on Maitri as a reminder, a totem to be kind to yourself. I have an ex-girlfriend who is wonderful and talented and beautiful in every way, and she's so hard on herself because she hasn't yet figured out what she wants to do with her life. She has all this talent and all this longing to be of benefit, and she sees many of her friends are already doing amazing things, and she can't figure it out. She's doing a lot of different things, almost too many, and she's so hard on herself. She guilt trips herself so much. And if she can just let go of that, then in a way you can have a more open field to figure out, maybe to discern. The Buddhist word is prajna, wisdom, discerning awareness, to see which way to go. And also just to relax with not knowing. Often we don't know, right? And that's okay. Any other questions? Where are y'all from? All right, Daniela. Hey, from New York. How do you approach Thanksgiving with an estranged family of different political views? Well, I mean, that's what's wonderful about family. Family is maybe the last area in the U.S. where we're forced to hang out with people who we might disagree with. Only hanging out with people who you agree with over here and staying away from people you disagree with over here. What does that look like? It looks like a fight. And that's what's happening in America right now. Please support this video, by the way. We got 200 of you. Mwah! We can get up to 500, 700 if you guys like it and share it and make crazy emoticon faces. It's hard to relate to people who might, in your opinion, be wrong or bigoted or sissy liberals or whatever our views are of the opposite side. But there's a real power to that, to kind of just agreeing to disagree. It's a muscle that is incredibly weak in America. It's like the pinky finger of America. Is we need to exercise our really weak ability to be able to agree to disagree and discuss it agreeably, respectfully. So I have an advantage here in that I am liberal, but I'm a pretty moderate liberal. extreme liberals drive me nuts, frankly. Sorry, guys. There's a lot of self-righteousness and aggression, and the call for safe spaces and stuff, while well-intentioned, runs counter to the First Amendment that democracy holds so dear. And my father is more conservative. So while I am a liberal, look at my coffee mug. I respect conservatives, particularly moderate conservatives. I wish we could bring a whole moderate conservatives and moderate liberals to work together with respect. The extremes I find a little less helpful. I think there's a lot more kind of self-righteousness and hate and kind of objectifying the other side on both extremes, whether it's Tea Party or, as people call them, the social justice warriors. And obviously social justice is necessary. There are real inequities and horrible things going on, but we are going to fix them by working together as a society, by creating peace, which is hard work. We always think peace is like white fluffy clouds with a little rainbow in them, but peace is muddy. Peace is difficult. Peace is that tight feeling in your heart that you got to breathe through when you're talking with Uncle Joey about how Hillary should be locked up, or you're talking with Aunt Sally about how Trump is Hitler, right? Not that the two are equivalent. I think there's some false equivalency going on. But, figuring out how to get along over turkey or over tofurkey or whatever is a noble, noble, noble cause. So Daniela, my advice, finally, to get to that, is a lot of this. Just brush it off your shoulder. When someone says something offensive, don't take the bait. Look for the best in them. Look to kind of, so they're coming at you like a army, like. So don't take the bait. As Sun Tzu, Art of War, would say, go around and come in back through the back. So they care about their grandkids, they care about their children, they care about their job, what do they care about? And connect with them. I hope that's helpful. Easier said than done. And that's where Maitri, kindness for yourself, comes into play, is you have to have a lot of compassion and patience for them, and that compassion and patience will come out of compassion and patience for yourself. If you can't be patient with yourself, if you can't come to a stoplight and ignore your phone and just be present, take every opportunity to be patient in your own life. Really practice patience. Breathing into your speediness. Whenever you find yourself speedy and wanting to fill the gap with your smartphone or whatever, just relax. Talk a little slower. It's not that slow is better than fast, but the speediness is a low level of stress that will make you dead tired all the time. And speediness seeps the joy out of life. Angela Ramos, Long Island. I'm having Thanksgiving at my house, but have a recent widower across my street that I want to embrace for the holiday. Doesn't sound like any problem there. I think inviting him over, or her, sounds like him, even if he says no, I think is incredibly sweet. Thanksgiving by yourself when no one has invited you anywhere might be a little bit hard. I've gone through that. Thanksgiving by yourself, by your choice, because you've been invited elsewhere, but you just want to be by yourself, can feel really sweet, and maybe he needs some alone healing. All right. Yeah, exactly. And just bringing him a pumpkin pie or something, it's just some gesture of love. Neighborliness is amazing. Here in Boulder, we had these floods that drowned half the town a couple years ago. And even though it was really it was sort of a tragedy, and it was hard, and it wiped out bridges and roads and houses, it was really hard on people. People came together and helped each other. And we made neighbor connections in a way that in the prior 9 years of my living here, or 7 years at the time, we never had. So neighborliness is almost as wonderful, if not more wonderful, than family, because you don't even have the family bond, but you somehow can connect and help create, as Buddhists would say, or Shambhala people would say, in a more enlightened society. Denise from Chicago. Going to Indiana for Thanksgiving. So nervous for political conversation. I'm already vegan, which makes holidays fun. Sorry, I'm getting all these texts. I'm supposed to be on Do Not Disturb. All right. Well, nervousness is you. Nervousness is your feeling. Nervousness is your stress. And that is good news because that means you can control it. So if I say your political view is wrong and you're a bad person, Denise from Chicago, you don't really care, right? Because I obviously don't know anything about it, about you, about your views, right? So you don't really take it personally. You are a horrible person for your political views. You don't even care. Do you feel nervous right now? No. Because if you don't feel nervous, then whatever kind of aggression comes out at you, you can handle. You don't have to take it that seriously. We all have experiences of people who drive people nuts, but for whatever reason, we're okay handling them. Like my grandma, big love to her right now, is one of my favorite humans on earth, and she can drive some people nuts, but I'm so removed from her. I'm her grandson, not her immediate child or whatever, that I always just found it sort of charming. And because she talks a mile a minute, she's super charming and kind of she's just a very full person, and I loved it. But it would drive other people nuts. And the difference isn't that I'm better in some way, or it just means that for whatever reason, my state of mind in listening to that stuff wasn't triggered, right? And for other people, it would be kind of triggered by her nuttiness. So remember that you can handle your own nervousness. And the way you can do that is to practice a couple minutes of meditation every morning and every night. And when someone's attacking you or attacking each other, come around the back. Come around the back. Come around the back. Attack them in the back. And when I say attack them with love, So think of someone's views you hate, and then think, well, what do they care about? What do they love? Let's talk about that. Not in a manipulative way, but help them understand that maybe let's not argue about Hillary Clinton, but let's talk about why people support her. Maybe climate change, maybe the economy has done really well under Obama. Even if you hate Obama, unemployment's below 5%, and 15 million jobs coming out of the greatest recession since the Great Depression. That's great, and we can celebrate that as Americans without saying Obama is a great guy. Or you can give him a little credit. Like back in the day, Republicans and Democrats would kind of give each other a little credit. Maybe they're sort of on opposing sides, but, we're all Americans. So let's chill out, man. And if you're talking about Trump, well, maybe you hate some of his views, but maybe there's something real there too. Maybe he's charming and he's not intimidated by the press. Even though he's very sensitive, he somehow doesn't care about offending people, and maybe that's kind of refreshing in politics. And so just try and find some good in it, but don't try and find good that isn't sincere. I think the combination, I get a lot of help for this on Instagram, is that you can actually still have a point of view. You can still be honest. You don't need to just be mushy, let's all get along, because that's fake too. So we need to be able to be sincere about what we think, but not kind of create more aggression, right? Does that make sense? So like my dad and I get into political arguments, but he has some really good points. And at the very least, he forces me to research what I think more so that I either change my mind or I can argue better the next time. He beats me usually in arguments. All right. David, and please, anyone who's having questions about how to be kind to yourself, read that blog on My Tree. It's from far smarter people than me. And there's a video by myself just on that. And it has like 300,000 views on YouTube, which is kind of cool. David, being kinder to oneself is an idea foreign to me. I'm sure you have moments of being kind to yourself. That said, I never have understood the idea of loving oneself. Well, so we're not talking about necessarily loving oneself. We're talking about making friends with yourself. I think it's crap. I love others and derive pleasure from that. If the recompense from doing for others isn't enough to at least give yourself a sense of worth, you're hopeless. Love myself? How narcissistic. How unhumble. I agree with that, David. I think that is right on, man. And you should write about that on elephantjournal.com/submit. So this isn't just like taking out some oil and polishing your face and draping yourself in satin and silk and putting up big posters of yourself that you might do things in front of. This isn't about getting off on yourself. This is about making friends with the parts of yourself that you have a lack of compassion for. And what is the point of this? And this is why I love David's comment so much. The point of this is when we have empathy for our soft spots, for our hard areas, for our failings, then we can have empathy for others, and it actually helps us be kinder. And as David points out, when we help others, then it's easier to kind of like ourselves in an organic way. So the Buddhist term is making friends with oneself. So David, read that blog on Maitri, and this isn't just some kind of jerk off worshiping yourself kind of thing. I love your question. Love it. All right. Nicole, did you get those links in there? Evelyn, been told for 25 years by ex-husband that I am a horrid person and now surrounding myself with loving people, but still struggling to believe them when they say how kind, caring I am. Well, Evelyn, it's kind of complicated. First of all, you are a good person. You are fundamentally good. So, Nicole, if you can put basic goodness, elephantjournal.com, in the comments, that would be great. We all do have failings, and our husbands, our wives, our loved ones can point those failings out to us. This is part of the virtue of marriage or of relationships or friendships, is that these people care about us enough to go into the awkward, difficult space to say, hey, Waylon, you're kind of speedy, or Waylon, you're kind of a jerk back there, or Waylon, it's not helpful when you do this. So that is the positive. The negative is if someone is just pounding on you, just saying you're a horrid person, that doesn't even sound constructive. And while we do want to surround ourselves with loving people, part of loving people is that they need to be empowered, not to just be yes men, but to be honest with us. So it's very important to keep people around us who irritate us, who are honest with us, who love us genuinely, not just agree with us. A lot of people, I feel like, hang out with this, like in the yoga community. They all hang out and hula hoop and do their thing, and then if anyone like communicates genuinely, they're like, that's scary. What the hell just happened? So we don't want to be infantile 12-year-olds who are just isolated from real feedback that is loving. But at the same time, there's no virtue in being in a relationship, and I'm glad to see the word X on there, where someone is just pounding you with making you feel bad about yourself. So Evelyn, please read the blog on Maitri, and then you can kind of leave behind the need for affirmation, because you can give it to yourself in a very fundamental way. And you can also look at our own failings in a very honest way. Part of Maitri is looking at your failings and feeling them. We often go through our whole lives without kind of touching in with our own selves in a genuine way. Dominic, good morning, afternoon. All right. There, under my favorite Buddhist teaching is Maitri. Yeah, some good comments. Jennifer, morning from Springfield. We are breaking out of the big family dinner tradition because this year there are only 3 of us, so we are going out. Not sure how I feel about any of it. Yeah, it's hard. I was going to host my own Thanksgiving dinner here for pretty much the first time. I have this cool dining table and stuff, but that I just got off Craigslist. But 2 of my best friends, one of whom was going to organize the food, had to back out because they had a family thing, which is cool. So now I'm going over to someone else's house, and it's kind of a new situation. So for many of us, Thanksgiving isn't about family. It's about feeling almost family-less, feeling like a orphan. And, Thanksgiving is, like Christmas, is a lot of joy, but also a lot of feeling left out. Leslie, I prefer staying home for Thanksgiving. I appreciate cooking and the delicious smell of foods warming the home. Not a big fan of idle chit-chat where we are asked the same questions over and over. Yeah, I hear you. Some of the idle chit chat, though, it's really hard for me because I'm an only child. I didn't really grow up around family, but there's something relaxing about it too when you can just kind of sit around with people and talk. And it's really hard for me. I'm not very good at it, so I'm right there with you. There's a blog, Why Do We Fear Aging? I have some other blogs on wrinkles and the Buddha's advice on aging, I think, Nicole, if you can put that in the comments. Maitri, Aaron, if you just look right above, the blog on Maitri is right above your question. Jesslyn, we have a blog on how to handle toxic family members, particularly around Thanksgiving or whatever. Nicole, can you do toxic family? So my advice, though, is a bit different than that blog. I don't really like the word toxic. I think it's kind of offensive. I think family who are neurotic, family who have different political opinions than us, family who are nuts, they're not toxic. They're actually just really good practice for us to be able to be genuine around. We don't need to be happy, we don't need to be sad, but we can always be genuine. So whether things are easy or hard, we can still be genuine. Don't be fake. But read that blog on toxic family members. And if you're enjoying this video, please give it a like or a love. That'll help it get out to more people. Right now it's at 250. That's cool. It's not going to be as popular as talking about Trump, but what are you going to do? We're not all about what's popular. We're about, hopefully, what's genuinely helpful. And if you want to get our best stuff, elephantjournal.com/best. Nicole, if you can put that in the comments, that has the link to our online magazines, and those are free. This popped from Eliza. This popped up on my feed at 11:11, and I'm sitting here with that smile you have when synchronicities happen. But I needed this right now, an hour from giving up. Thank you, Just. Thank you for grounding me back to what matters. Just listening to this has brought back a calm to my spirit. No words can express the incredible lightness you're bringing to the world. Wow. Well, thank you. And Eliza, I would just say sometimes in a weird way, giving up, not giving up on yourself, not giving up on others, but giving up on the battle of ego in a way is really healthy. And when we give up, we can just relax as it is with a little smile, you know? So in Buddhism, they say, smile if you have to. Not a fake smile, but you can smile out of a genuine sense of empathy for yourself and kindness to others. Like, this sounds really insensitive, and I probably shouldn't say it, but in some of my darkest moments, where you have moments where you're like, what's the point of my life? I've been cheered up just by the simple notion of coffee or nachos, I have to say. Why would I want to, if I were to end my life, why would I want to give up 800 or 8,000 mornings of good coffee? You know, so the simple things in life can cheer us up. We don't need to be cheered up by some deep spiritual thing. Looking at leaves, looking at mountains, looking at the prayer flags blowing in the wind. These things can cheer us up. Just looking at our life and appreciating what's right in front of us, whether it's good or bad, happy or sad, you know, can cheer us up. All right. So, you know, we all know about dog and cat therapy, right? Just getting in there and just giving a little cuddle and a pet to a dog, or hanging out with a kid and having fun. As Dave, I think his name was, said, just if you don't have any meaning in your life, volunteer at a soup kitchen. I know it's a cliche, but you'll very quickly realize how essential you are to people, and then it's very hard to feel like you don't have any meaning in your life. So for Michael, I live by these three things. I can't please everyone. That's a hard one to learn, especially when you're young. I can only do the best I can, and I matter too. Well, it's good stuff. Hello to Brechtje from Holland. Maastricht. I'm not good at saying any of that. There's the blog with, so if you want to sit down with some good books that might change your life, best Buddhist books for beginners with simple meditation instruction. I have another blog, actually, Nicole, best classic Buddhist books that I think is slightly better. There's Heidi, why can't you ever get the camera ready before you start? Say more. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I just have to turn it on because it's my phone. It's my phone. And then I set it down. So, anyway, I am not a videographer, and I apologize if this is ghetto. But part of Facebook Live is it's on your phone, and it's not, we're used to having like 2 or 3 cameras or 4 cameras and editing the whole thing and making it beautiful. If you want beautiful videos, go to youtube.com/elephantjournal. Heidi, and many of the videos there are well edited, and they're a lot shorter. But Facebook Live basically assembles an audience for 20 minutes, so videos have to be like 45 minutes because the audience comes together around 20 minutes. Thank you, BJ. Bridget, the infighting among families, I assume, or Americans, is a ruse to distract us from the imploding planet. Big oil has won. Joining together now to save the Titanic is all we can do. When the ship is sinking, it's futile to bicker with your dinner guest. Depressing, but pretty accurate. I mean, it's pretty rough in terms of climate change. Electing Trump, just from a climate change point of view, is, if he follows through on, believing that it's fake and such, it's going to be rough for all of us. We're already having pretty violent effects from climate change that affect Republicans and Democrats and Libertarians and Green Party, everyone equally, of course. So it's hard to disagree if you look at the science that things are tough. I can't say that the battle's over, but it's definitely not looking good, and it's one of the major sources of depression for myself right now. Anyway, Tasha, it is tough being kind to yourself. Anyway, enough about the whole planet and the world. Tasha, it is good enough being kind to yourself. I'm going through this process, or trying to. I'm a single mom, and it's hard to put any focus on myself. I will be honest, I've yet mastered going out by myself. I've yet to master. I've been trying to meditate as well, break habitual patterns, very powerful stuff, good work, and try new things. How do you keep the motivation or get past being scared? Then I get upset at myself for not doing what I wanted to do. So motivation isn't superfluous. Motivation isn't external. Motivation is internal. I want to be present. I want to be kind. I want to be happy. I want to be fundamentally cheerful. I want to serve and help others. I meditate every day because I'm just not sane or present or effective in my work or in my life if I don't. So it's a very fundamental, simple motivation, which is I need to meditate so that I can be open and present and helpful and not a total jerk, clumsy jerk, which is kind of me off of meditation. So part of meditation is bowing, dedicating the merit of whatever you do to be a benefit to others. And that's very important to do before and after. So like Dave says, again, meditation, Maitri, we're not doing it ironically for ourselves. We're not making friends with ourselves just for ourselves. We're making friends with ourselves so that we can create less war and more peace externally. And if you can't work with the hardest people in your life, the tough family members, the tough coworkers, then you don't have enough Maitri. It's a sign that you haven't made friends with the own tough parts of yourself. So meditation, Tasha, should not be a matter of willpower, but of longing, in a sense. It's just practical. Trungpa Rinpoche talks about how meditation is as basic as brushing your teeth every morning. You don't have a big battle of willpower, maybe, probably, with brushing your teeth. You just want to brush your teeth because you have a gross taste in your mouth. That's why I brush my teeth. Yeah. Robin, yeah, I'm slightly liberal, yeah, who knew? That's funny. Denise, hilarious. My dad is Joey and I have an Aunt Sally. LOL. That's funny. Ayesha, that must have been a weird moment when I started talking about your family. Now I'm going to start talking about your dog. All right, Ayesha. Thank you. Yeah, so there's my video. I think that's by me. How to relate to your crazy family mindfully, with a little more in-depth action. Dominic, tolerance through understanding. Yeah, sure. Tara, I've missed you. Grateful for you today. Mind the gap. Christy, I can avoid stress and anxiety by doing things. Staying off social media for one, going outside, interacting with humans who are actually living day by day. Not everyone is out there fighting and arguing and causing trouble. Some of us want to be safe places, and I still have that tight place in my heart. Compassion and patience take practice. Yeah, there's a lot in your comment. I wrote a blog about Nicole. If you can put in the comments, something like the 8 things to do but you Google like how to things that help with everyday depression. Nicole, if you can just search everyday depression, and the image on it is Walt Whitman. Getting offline, going for a hike, connecting with community like at a cafe or farmer's market or what have you. Those are powerful, wonderful things in terms of how to cheer ourselves up, for sure. Good advice about patience. Yeah, whenever you find yourself feeling that speediness is kind of low-level toxic, and it'll burn you out. Hey, from Detroit to Jennifer. Tara, I've just started meditating for real these past weeks. Truly amazing stuff, life-changing stuff happening, and all I'm doing is spreading it. And I'm glad you are spreading your word with all of us, soaking it up. Thank you again. Awesome. Sounds good. Is a key advice for you, since you're so inspired and fired up right now? Meditation should not be dependent on being inspired or fired up. Meditation is something kind of like, again, brushing your teeth, that you should do whether you're up or down, high or low. Meditation is just as powerful when you're having a hard time as when you're having a good time. Many people stop meditating when they're having a good time. I don't need it. Everything's great. But we always want to bring back ourselves, bring back our mind to the present moment. And then we can more fully appreciate the good times, the avocado that we're eating, the coffee we're drinking, the friend we're having a tough conversation with. Good or bad, happy or sad. Meditate for a couple minutes in the morning, couple at night, and see me in the morning. Mercedes, all right, I'll come to Argentina. Thank you for the invitation to your Thanksgiving dinner. I appreciate it. Monsi, hey, hola, love your coffee mug, and hey, Nicole, thank you for the links. Love to Redford. Yeah, I don't know where Redford is today. He's wandering around. He's actually probably napping in the sun. I guarantee it. Debbie, thank you. Elephant Journal is amazing. I read it and listen in as much as possible. Keep up the good work. If you want to support Elephant, we need it. elephantjournal.com/best. It's free. It's our online newsletter. If you get that, you will keep us alive. Facebook has been tough. Actually, Nicole, if you could throw a ton of Thanksgiving blogs, Thanksgiving recipes, Thanksgiving, into the comments, that would be awesome. You could go to Classic and search Thanksgiving most viewed. Ping. Norma, hello from Mexico City. Hello to you. I was just being told by some friends how amazing Mexico City was. Karen, I was once told to imagine difficult people holding balloons with their best traits on them. The energy you bring to the table is felt even if you don't say it. That's interesting. I like that. Mercedes, attack them with love. Exactly. Yeah, sorry the phone was freezing up because people were texting me. People are going crazy arguing on Facebook. Here's how you can win those arguments. Remember how to disagree agreeably. I think that's something I wrote, if you want to read that. Coming around the back should be the slogan for the 2016 holiday season. Yeah, don't attack people on their views or on what they're putting out. Come around the back and connect with what they care about in their lives, and then you can all connect and get past your objectifying each other. Get past your paper tigers. Get past your cardboard caricatures of yourself. That's a quote for Lindsay, Nicole, if you mentioned. Jacqueline, that's a profound question. What's the problem with me that I'm compassionate toward others and not toward myself? Well, it's much easier to be compassionate for other people's situations because it's out there and we have some perspective and wisdom, and empathy can naturally arise. So nothing's wrong with that. Except for if you don't have compassion for yourself as the foundation of that, then you could be engaging in kind of what Buddhists call idiot compassion. So Nicole, if you can put idiot compassion in the comments, then people could read that. So if you ever feel like your compassion is limited to others, not to yourself, or if it's not even really truly helping others, read Idiot Compassion. Lisa Fierman, I think sometimes people tend to be fixers and find people to help because it takes the spotlight off their own problems. Exactly. That's a description of Idiot Compassion. So read Idiot Compassion. It's okay to take care of yourself or you will end up empty and unable to help others. Well said. Lisa, write a blog. Copy paste, expand, elephantjournal.com/submit, and we'll feature that. Carly, joining in late from Perth. Hey, good morning. How does anyone know to get notifications as soon as the videos go live? I've clicked on get notifications, but it notifies me 20 minutes after the chat has started. That's annoying. Well, just remember you can always get all these videos. We then put them on youtube.com/elephantjournal. So if you subscribe there, you'll get all the videos there. Carly, sorry about that hassle. And yeah, for anyone else, you're supposed to be able to click the button, get notifications on the videos as soon as I hang up. Yes, Kelsey, well said. I think loving yourself is very different from stroking your ego. Ego being selfish, but self-love being the act of living with self-worth. Of course, this has just touched the surface. Kelsey, I love that. Please copy, paste, expand, send in as an article, elephantjournal.com/submit, and you'll help and inspire many people, and that's our mission. Who likes that mission? Let's give it some like and love. We're dropping. Maybe I'll run. Maybe I'll just stop the video. We can meditate for a second. Karen, now I got an invitation to Western Illinois. Thank you so much. Aw, I'd have stuffing in my hand before I got through the door. All right, I'm going to wrap it up since the video is boring, people. But let's meditate for one moment. Even if meditation feels a little boring, it's super powerful stuff. So connect your sit bones to the ground. Take a great posture, like superhero posture, but then relax. Eyes are open. Find your breath in and out. Let's do that for a couple minutes. Just breathe in and out. This is what the Buddha taught shamatha, learning how to rest our mind in the present moment. If you find yourself distracted by thoughts about girls or boys or lunch or an argument or there's a song stuck in your head, whatever it is, label it thinking gently but precisely, and then gently come back to your breath. If you hear sounds, you can just notice them, appreciate them, and then come back to your breath. Okay, I hope you all have a great, great day. Please read some of these blogs. These are some of the best blogs on Elephant. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like or a love or a share. And if you want all these videos, you can go to youtube.com/elephantjournal. And have a great Thanksgiving. I'll be doing these every single day in the morning, MST time, Mountain Standard Time. And if you want notifications on these videos as soon as I hang up, you can click the button, and hopefully it'll work for you. So big love to everyone, and read that blog on MyTree or one of the other blogs and see if it doesn't improve your experience of your everyday life a little bit. So thank you so much, folks. And maybe I'll look at the last comments and see if there's one more. Hello from Moscow. It's very interesting listening to you. I have a friend who doesn't like herself even if she's good looking and into sports. Depression is also part of the problem when it goes on and off. Is this happening because of low self-esteem? So Ekaterina, first of all, it's very sweet that you're concerned about your friend. And yeah, depression and lack of self-love happens to any of us, whether we're good-looking conventionally or not good-looking conventionally, or whether we're into sports or not. So there's a lot of things we can do to take care of ourselves. Hopefully Nicole put that blog in there, how to work with everyday depression. I put together the resources that have helped me in my life with my own everyday depression. So please read that. And yeah, low self-esteem is part of it, but it's very workable. It's very fixable. So that's the good news. Meditation, grounding your habitual patterns in the present moment instead of letting them spin out, and then we are kind of hard on ourselves. So big love to you in Moscow, and thank you everybody. Pedro, I never get enough sleep. I've been working way too much. I work very hard on Elephant, so if you want to help me get more sleep, please get that newsletter, elephantjournal.com/best. Mwah!